Hello and welcome. This is Sahara playing Pillars of Eternity, the White March. We are in Defiance Bay and a Brackenberry, getting ready to go in the sanitarium. But before we do, I thought we would have a talk here with our new companion.
As a peripatetic loner, I'm not privy to the latest news, but the Hollowborn Children is a tale that has reached even my reclusive ears. Or, rather, ear.
So what do the Glanfinian druids think of this plight?
It's been a long time since I've spoken with my circle. They'd probably tell you what I'd tell you. This plight was most certainly the consequence of someone trespassing into Nguithan places, not meant for folk. I mean, what else other than the gods could inflict punishment of such impressive scale?
True, I agree. What are your thoughts on the Hollowborn?
Anytime a life is separated from its soul, I wanted to pretend it was just a rumor when I first heard of it. In my youth, I'd cursed the dear Woodens for being ignorant despoilers that breed out of control. But soulless babies? What heartless gods would inflict that kind of tragedy? No parent or child deserves to be a part of that horror.
I agree.
Need something?
Tell me about Irglapin? It's a verdant land of history, culture, and natural beauty. His voice falls into a half-whisper as he adds, and we already have enough unwanted trespassers, so I recommend you never visit. Do you miss it? Used to, he says with a slight frown. He scratches his shredded ear and looks eastward. It's home. I'll go back eventually, but... He turns his attention to his shoulder and picks a small seed from the fibers of his tunic. See that? See this? He holds up the seed. I know, just a seed, but I've never seen this type before, and I'm itching to find out what grows from it. Every day I see something new out here. I'll return home eventually, but for now, my curiosity exceeds my nostalgia sevenfold. And why should I avoid it? He looks at you puzzled. There are no cities to visit, no centers of commerce to explore. It would seem most visitors come to our lands to pillage the Willinian ruins. The ancient Inkwithians gave the forest to our ancestors, and in return we watch their ruins and see to it that they remain untouched. Before you ask me, no, we don't have a secret pass, phrase, or hand gesture. Nobody enters the ruins, not even the guardians and watchers. What can you tell me about your tribe? I'm from the Fisher Crane tribe, and most of my people live far to the southeast, in and around the Thim Bog. He weaves his fingers together and cracks his knuckles in a flexing motion of wet snaps. The tribe is not one of great renown, but we... Hiravias paused for a moment. They protect their lands in accordance with the sacred oath of old, and as much as it pains me to say it, I wouldn't want any other tribe's names attached to my own. Did you grow up in the bog? Only briefly. Here, let me show you something. Don't comment on it. Don't commit any of it to memory, please. Hiravias rolls up his sleeves and shows you his forearm. The soft brown fur of his arm is lined with a faint stains of hema and scar tissue. This is where I grew up. On the migration trail, I had it marked on my arms during my training. While much of the tribe guards the Thim Bog year-round, many of us, including the Circle of Hawk and Ivy, honor the oaths by patrolling lesser-known ruins scattered throughout the lands. He points at several of the Hemas crescents on his forearm. We ensure houses, take only what we can carry, and move camp every 2 moons to ensure that all our sacred sites are visited at regular intervals. This nomadic patrol is how my druid circle came to name itself. We circle and protect like hawks, but we only ever perch on the ivy of the ruins, that is nearby trees, never to enter the builders' lairs. Why aren't the Fisher Crane well regarded? Because the other tribes are insufferable sibling spawn. He grins. Because the other tribes are insufferable sibling spawn? He grins broadly and stares at you for several silent moments. I suppose the Fisher Cranes have a reputation for being passive and reluctant to fight, which is another way of saying the other tribes fight hard while we fight smart. Our namesake, the fisher crane, is a marshland reptar that remains stark still from sunrise to noon. We are invisible stewards of the land and patient hunters of those who trespass. The three-tusked straggler tribe see our methods as soft and unbecoming, but I hear they use the same word for cousin as they do for whore in their dialect. Just an observation. Could you join a different tribe? Hiravias frowns and shakes his head. There are tribes that would take me. The three split arrows adopt outcasts like myself, but their ways are not my own. Some of them even live under roofs. Aloth, too. He looks off to the southeast and sighs. I long for home, not just any home, but way has made my wanderings fruitful, and I accept that it may not be until my soul passes that I rejoin the fisher cranes. That's some other questions. Aren't most Orlans in Glappen wild?
Wild? Yes, I suppose all of us were a bit wild as my tribe was migratory and we didn't live in permanent houses. But I understand what you're trying to ask. Yes, a slight plurality of Glonfath and Orlans have forest plumage. Growing up with meadow plumage, I was assumed to be weaker than others my age. The huntmaster of my tribe only chose apprentices from the forested kin, or rather, wild Orlans, as they're called amongst slave-owning bigots, as well as bigots too broke to own slaves.
Wow, he's a little bitter.
I grew up in Glonfath, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glonfath many times. What would you like to know?
How did you kind of be trained as a druid? Hiravias thumbs his half-shredded ear and thinks to himself for several seconds. It wasn't entirely by choice, not at the start at least. My ambition was to be a hunter. I merely arrived by a different trail. As a child, an Anna-Brand came to visit. An honored guest is occasion for a grand chase, but I was left out, instructed instead to be cup-bearer to the old wise one while the rest were on hunt. I'm sure you can guess what happens while wise Anna gives dumb child a shred of attention. We ended up talking until the hunters returned. He gave me his hands darted across his body, scouting the pockets and folds of his tunic. He presents a rusted iron medallion fashioned in the likeness of a hound's head, a common icon mostly amongst the frontiersmen, explorers, and other seekers faithful to Galawan. The Amathan insisted I be trained, and none in my village would defy him. Now he smells barley. I don't need to bow to him. And where are you from originally?
My mother's crotch. You?
Oh my god. I meant from what? What a coincidence. I also came from your mother's crotch. Oh my god, that's funny. What a coincidence. I also came from your mother's crotch. But I'm so big. I'm an Amana compared to him. He's a little thing. I meant from what land do you hail?
I grew up in Glonfath, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glonfath many times.
So what's the story behind the symbol of Wa on your eye patch? Wa is known as the eyeless face, so his symbol seemed a good fit for my eye patch. He absent-mindedly runs his finger along the strap of the patch band. Wa Icongraphy is rather popular in my home tribe, but it seems he is not as widely venerated here in the Deerwood. I remember thinking that if I consecrated my eye to he who obfuscates and rebuilds, then maybe with enough devotion, Wall would make use of old ruined thing. He pulls on the eye patch strap and lets go with a loud snap. So, if you think you see me staring at rumps and cleavage, it's really just the wall controlling my gaze. Honest. Okay. What's your relationship with Galawan? I was raised as a disciple of the Seeker God. He is the champion of the hunt, be it the simple struggle for substance or the scholarly pursuit of knowledge. God, I can't even talk. In my older days, I found, he cuts himself off, shakes his head, and starts again. Life has shown me I am more suited to the ways of Wall. The furious hunt for knowledge often outpaces the journey to real understanding. Yeah, these people all change their gods kind of all the time. Druids are known for changing into animals. What sort of creatures can you become? He takes a half step backward as you ask a question. All sorts of things, he says quietly with a long, uncomfortable gaze. Hiravias stares at you blankly, arms folded. Let's discuss something else. Okay. That's an unusually terse response from you. What are you holding back? Any man with your scars has a story to tell. I'm just going to ask you later if you don't tell me. Yeah,
Yes, I suppose you should know.
What should I know?
I struggled with spirit shifting, the final rite of passage in my druidic training. I prayed to Galawain for insight and, in the style of seekers of old, went to the forest, alone, to ask for guidance. Then I got my answer. An answer at least, in the form of a vibrantly colored Stelgar that pounced from the underbrush and made a salient demonstration of its capacity to eat things 1/15 its size.
Okay, you're alive today, so how did you fend off the beast? That's terrible. I am thankful you managed to survive. As awful as that sounds, it's one amazing rite of passage. True.
Well, Oh, you actually meant that. Thanks. My kin didn't find anything positive about this tale. As the beast was lopping off bits of my handsomeness, I remember trying to fight back, swinging with arms too short to reach. I felt I had the energy for one last swipe at the beast's nose, and when I lashed out with a punch, my arm felt twice as massive, and my fingers sprouted talons.
Oh, wow.
In a rush of power, I shifted into a mirror of my assailant. Apparently, he couldn't pick on someone his own size. By the battle's end, his severed arm was in my maw. The beast limped away in defeat.
That's quite an impressive tale. I thought learning to spirit shift would win me some respect. Maybe trap myself in a Adarian lass with a lust for little men. Alas, I might have been better off staying a novice. When I wandered back to my village, they saw my wounds and asked what happened. I showed them. The name they called me, my form, was the Autumn Stegler, and his mouth opens, but he hesitates for a long moment before choosing his words. They were not impressed. The role of my circle, the Rio of my circle believed the Autumn Stegler to be a heinous abomination. It is said that if it eats you, your soul is invariably lost. As this was my first and most intuitive form, they deemed me a carrier of its evil. Wow. Even though I never so much as threatened my kin, I was ruled unfit and cast out. He sighs, scratching his scarred face. I don't know what message Galawan was trying to send. The only lesson I learned was that the Seeker God will punish you for seeking. Yeah. So, you're some sort of soul cannibal? He stares at you with a frown before covering his face in his hands. No, he mutters. At least I think not. I've never actually sat down and ate an entire person to find out. I am not that curious to find out. So you didn't choose your spirit shifting form? No, he says with a huff. It chose me, or so I imagine. I always assumed I would shift into a sloth. Seems more true to my nature. He points to the embossed pattern of wall on his eye patch. As the obscured teaches, when the answer is inscrutable, one must be content to ponder the question. Were you at least recognized as a proper druid? His brow furrows. No, but I know I passed an initiation rite, 5 times more perilous than any of those kin betrayers that insisted I was a failure. True, you lived. Can you learn to spirit shift into something less terrifying? Already can and sometimes do, he says with a beaming smile that quickly returns to a scowl. But the druids of my circle assign great meaning to one's first form. I'll always be unclean to them. Wow, thanks you for sharing your story.
Well, if you don't know me, you can't trust me. And if you can't trust me, odds are low you'll leap in front of a flying arrow to save my life.
True.
I've been meaning to visit the druids of Twin Elms to see if they know more about my spirit shift. If our journey takes us there, perhaps they can enlighten me with more information about the Autumn Stelgar. But for now, maybe we can talk about something less depressing?
Yeah, I want to hear more about the Gallowin and Wall. He stares at you blankly with his one eye. Oh, not sure what more there is to say on the subject unless you were itching for a religious debate. Now tell me about your thoughts on Wall. I came to know Wall in earnest in the first year of my exile. I asked myself why Gallowin would punish me for asking questions. What just and fair god would punish me for doing as he asked? Questioning why I had been mauled just drove me mad. At the height of my worry, I would have dreams where I only saw with my injured eye. My healthy eye became blind in my dreams. Me that I am visually impaired, that would be, yeah, that would be horrifying. He lifts up the eye patch to gently itch at the socket. You catch a quick glimpse of a puckered and scarred abscess under the wall embroidered patch. So one afternoon, I stitched a stylized eye motif on the patch. I like to think of it as my self-initiation right into the Brotherhood of Wall. Wall is not an instructive or overbearing deity. He does not freely dispense wisdom and expects all of us to question and explore with our own minds. Wall reminds me that curiosity is being receptive to any and all truths, not hunting for any one answer. Has Wall ever actually spoken directly to you or sent you a sign? No, never directly, he says with a smile, which is as it should be, given what he represents. I especially like how Wall never sends wild beasts to maul me, but maybe I have low expectations of such things. Okay. Your loss. Okay, looks like we're done. True to form. Traveling companion. Find a druid who knows more about the Autumn Stagger. Yeah, I figured there was going to be a quest somewhere. Anyway.
Sure.
Okay. So, this is for, going in here is for Aloth's thing.
Time to see and not be seen.
Since he needs to know more about his awakening. So we're in the sanitarium, and this is for, what is this? I need to go to the sanitarium. What was this for? Fragments of scattered faith. That's Duron's time. I knew I'd have to do that. Where was it? Travel to the cave. Winds of Soul. Where was it at? It was here. It was here. Oh, what had happened to it? What happened to it? Maybe it was under tasks. Blade of the Endless Path. Oh, that's right. I have to go to court. I forgot about that. No, it's here. We're here to find out about... I thought he would say something when we got here. Who would I talk to? Her? Maybe?
Hail, traveler.
Ah, yes. Does anyone here know anything about awakenings? There's an animancer on the lower floor who came all the way from Ruba to study them. Take the stairs down and look for Belda Siege. Okay, so I have to go down. Sorry, my eyes. You may have a member of the Leaden Key in your midst. Ethamore groans, and the stone around him shudders. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own, but a few other less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You are at odds with the Leaden Key as well, I take it. They are up to something. I'm trying to determine what. They have something I need. They are up to something, and I am trying to determine what. They are always up to something. Of that you may rest assured. If their plots have come to involve you, you have my sympathies. Do you have some idea who this person might be? I suspect it's a patient. I won't know until I've met them. It would be unwise to consider anyone above suspicion. I don't know. I won't know until I've met them. Very well. In that case, I would recommend you speak first with our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here or in their offices some downstairs. You're reporting things suspicious to me immediately. This is my only request. Okay. So, two-sided. Find an expert of awakening somewhere. Yeah, this is, yeah, oh, Aloth. Aloth mentioned. I may be able to find someone who knows something about the awakening. I've been told to look for someone named... She works on the lower floor of the sanitarium. And then the man who waits. Question the animancers about suspicious activity. Okay, so I'll be going around talking to people, it looks like. An animancer over here. Animaster strengthens his robes and gives you a nod. Okay.
Eh? Time to see and not be seen.
I think does it have to be me?
Got it.
I don't think it doesn't make any difference who it is. Okay, Animancer. Speak with Head Warden if you wish to make an appointment. Animancer means progress in experiments. Okay, so it's none of these. Here we study the soul. Alright, that goes down. Do we have any animancers over here? No, that's... I'm investigating possible Leaden Key activity in the sanitarium. Seen anything suspicious? Yeah. Oh, I'm afraid I'm too wrapped up in my own research to pay any attention, to pay any mind to what else is going on around here. One of the other animancers might know something, though. What do you know about awakenings? Not much, I'm afraid, but the sanitarium attracts experts from all over. I'm sure someone here can help you out. Looks like she's been too involved in her own research to pay much attention. What else is going around? So I need to go to the ones that are named. Nope.
What?
No, wrong one. This one. Yeah. How about this one here?
Hail and well met.
Do you know anything about awakenings? I'm afraid that's not my area of expertise. Okay. So there's only so many areas here. Oh, there she is. This is the one that we couldn't talk to before. Something else you need. Are you the animancer who's been buying relics? No. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. She laughs bitterly. Ah, that would be me, though the lack of research subjects has made me more of an expert in counting floorboards. I would like to transfer animancy success. In... What? Okay, I would like to transfer animacy's success in buttressing pre-awakened souls to soothing those whose souls have already awakened, but I need subjects, and most of the patients here are too broken to produce reliable results. It is a tragedy to have come so far for nothing. You're in luck, I have a volunteer. She springs to the balls of her feet, beaming. Gelred, who is it? Aloth lips curled to frown. I don't know about this. She grins more broadly still. Don't be silly. The process is perfectly harmless. All you must do is stand in that cage. I beg your pardon? I jest. You Adarians are so uptight. I do not even know what the thing is used for. It belonged to the last occupant of this office, I think. Now they upgrade him. Now they upgrade him to a cell. Again, I just... Okay, whatever. She rubs her hands together, getting down to business. So, I need you to sit here. She takes Aloth by the shoulders and steers him to the couch. And try to relax, but don't try too hard. Then you will not be relaxing. Okay. Indeed, his eyes are humorless. And you must also wear these. A little cold, but the copper will help conduct your essence. The animancer fastens thick copper bands to Aloth's forehead and wrists. As she ratchets them tighter, his face twitches with suppressed irritation. Now I will examine your soul through my scope. She reaches into her desk and produces a long, chambered tube. Knobs, dials, and small tooth wheels run along the side of the device. It is fitted with Adra lenses cut to two different thicknesses and convectivities, something like that. Is concave. Convectivities, whatever. By manipulating them, I find the angles and densities that will allow me to track the anomalies in your soul. Does this mean we'll get to talk to Ishmore more? I like that lady. She raises a finger. But first, we must find this cunning interloper. You will answer some personal questions while I make adjustments. Zagreb pats his arm. Don't worry, I'm sure we won't hear any of it. Allah squims on the couch. Very well. She holds the scope to her eye and flicks a knob. To begin, tell me something personal, something from a time before your awakening. There's nothing to tell. I was just a normal child living in the Sithenwood. He looks at you. His face is set in a frown, but the rigid edges of apprehension show through nevertheless. Talk about your parents. As you speak to Aloth, you feel your voice like a bell in your chest. It tolls softly, luring him into the mists of his own memory. Belsage doesn't seem to notice anything, but you feel as if your words are smoothing his essence, untangling in its many threads. He closes his eyes. Mother is away most of the time with the Thines family, but I always know when she is coming home. Father's bottles accumulate like storm clouds on the horizon. His fits of temper become swifter and more violent. It still shames him knowing that her handmaid to another man supports us better than his labors as a steward. Yes, is good. I am starting to see something. Continue. Tell us about the time you awakened. She bites her tongue as she twists one of the dials. I am in my 5th year of training. Mother is home. I can let my guard down a little because when she is around, he is usually only angry with her. But he has heard that I have had trouble casting missiles, that my flame shields are unstable. He is furious that I have failed, and Mother's presence reminds him that he has failed too. The first blow takes me by surprise. One moment I am sweeping the kitchen, the next I am sprawled on the ground, stupidly looking at flecks of my blood on the tile. His boots, glistening with fresh polish, thud across the floor. He kicks me on the stomach and I curl up to shield my vitals. But it's pointless. Protecting one thing only leaves something else exposed. Very true. So sorry you had to go through that, Aloth. Still huddled on the ground, I retreat as fast as I can. I retreat until the vision of the kitchen and my own trembling knees is nothing but a pinprick against a field of black. His jaw locks and his eyes twitch beneath their lids. Medicio! Belisage furiously cranks the knobs along her scope. He's hypnotized himself with this old memory. You've got to bring him out of it quickly. I almost have it. You're safe. Everything is fine. Shaken by the shoulder. Aloth, you've got to wake up. This is just a memory. It isn't real. Aloth's eyes snap open, but the expression you see in them isn't his. And what about those rattles you see in the space between your ears? They real enough for you? Okay, this is her. Belisage sucks a deep breath through her teeth. That's it. I'm seeing a shift in his essence. Something spreading and congealing. She glances at you over her scope. Keep talking. He seems to respond to you. What brought you here? Cracking bones and voices high in the air. That warm molasses feeling that crisps down your gut when crisis is high. We have blares of a totally distinct essence. She jots shorthand notes onto the pages next to her and turns one clicking knob of the scope. Now try to get the two of them talking. Aloth, ask Ishmael what she's doing. Aloth's face twists and furry. Sticking weed. Worming parasite. He bursts into sudden laughter. You'd say the same to your own kindred twig when it betrays you. Eater grins. Must be hard to avoid knowing there's a lady in your body the whole time judging you. Good, yes, very good. She rests from her scribbling only to make another adjustment to her scope. I can now see two separate patterns of essence. Where he ebbs, the other flows. It's as if the awakened soul fills the space that he leaves empty. She prompts you with a circling of her wrist, quill still in hand. Go on. Aloth, what's this about ceding space to Ismir? So, Ismir, what exactly are you taking from him? Nay, more than I'm giving. You should ask what I did that old man of his. Now, the last time he laid a hand on us, I break it in 3 pieces. Aloth's head jerks to the side. That wasn't your decision. It's never been your decision. Nay, it was awakening, but now I'm stuck with you, and damned if I let your ninny and drag us about through the scrupper. Ah, very good. She lowers her scope and consults her notes. I think I'm finally got something we can work with. I've tracked Ishmi's essence throughout the exchange. She had a particularly high density index during the most heated portions of their argument, and her essence seemed to localize most clearly in the lower portion of the subject's left ribcage. That's right around the spleen, which of course means that she is triggered by black bile. No doubt the subject's characteristic melancholy is to blame. Aloth blinks back at you, and in the midst of his perturbation, you're not quite sure who's looking out of his eyes. That's utter horseshit. Sagni's eyes are wide and innocent. It doesn't seem as though she got one thing right. She glares at him. Yes, never mind, my years of training. Yes, never mind my years of training. I suppose you have a better explanation? So they're doubting her. Was she saying that this essence is sitting down in his spleen? You're close, I think. Ishmael's appearances are related to potential sources of trouble for Aloth. Aloth's right. That's absurd. Ishmael obviously shows up when he feels threatened. If you're right, then removing Ishmael manifests when Aloth is in danger or under pressure. Belisage carefully scratches her jaw, her gaze darting between you and Aloth. I suppose that could be true. She jots another note. I'll have to check this against other research. He removes the copper bands. Well, and good for you, but what does this mean for me? Belisage frowns at her notes, tapping her cheek with the quill and making a grand show of concentration. However, you catch her stealing a glance at you over her pages. Ishmael tries to take control from you when she thinks you can't face a problem on your own. You can't let her make these decisions for you. She did you a favor by dealing with your father, didn't she? I think she's trying to help you stand up for yourself. You may not like her methods, but you should hear her out. Seems that Ishmael steps in when she's determined that you're in danger. It's not clear yet whether this is a help or a hindrance. You can't feel her. You can't let her make these decisions for you. She did you a favor by dealing with your father, didn't she? I think she's trying to help you. Yeah, I think it's more number 2. If you had to listen to her half as much as I do, you wouldn't say that. He scowls, but you notice something thoughtful in his frown. I've got a lot to process. Regardless, thank you for your help, Corinne. He does not look at Belisage. She sets her notes on her desk and returns to her scope. Well, I hope this has been as useful to you as it has been to me. I finally have material worth publishing. You'll be the toast of revoir. Whatever. So we gained experience from this. His grimace melts into a crooked smile. Aye, advancing the right-wise principles of animacy, just what we've always wanted. That's his. As you turn to leave, you catch a darting movement out of the corner of your eye. Belisage is humming to herself, still occupied with her scope, but Aloth's holding her notes. He's just about to tuck them into his cloak when he catches you watching. He holds a finger to his lips, his eyes wide and imploring. Please, I don't want my personal information published like this, especially not after her nonsense. No, you get your explanation. No, I agree. Fair enough, but do it quickly. I can't let you do that, not after hearing how much this means to her. Wow, I agree with him. She's going to publish it. If he'd known she was going to publish it, he probably wouldn't have said anything. So she wasn't actually, she wasn't honest with us. We just thought it was helping with her research. We didn't know she was going to publish it. Yeah, just leave me out of this. Fair enough, but do it quickly. He hides the paper in his cloak. No need to worry. We'll see to this on our own. Okay. So the quest is completed. He didn't get an answer. So sorry, Aloth. We still have to find... Carol... Loco has wandered into... He is asking for help with his... So we still have some animancers to find, I think. Isn't there one over here?
Hello.
Are you... I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Oh, how come the other questions aren't coming up? Anything unusual happening around here? You must be joking. This is the sanitarium. Nothing is usual around here. Although now that I think of it, the patients seem more agitated lately, but they're Cademan Azol's responsibility, not mine. He nods, taking a deep breath. Then, if there's nothing else, I'll be on my way. Okay, so the man who wants. Not that she's been too absorbed. Amada mentioned that the sanitarium patients are more agitated than normal. Who is Cadman Azu? Who is Cadman Azu? No, we were already in here.
Good day, stranger.
A young Orlin... Okay, I don't think I was in here before. A young Orlin woman traces her finger along the spines of the books in front of her now. Row by row, her motions quick and skittish, like a bird's. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh my, you startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Me? I'm just Master Azu's assistant, but there's a visiting scholar from Rabu here named Valet. Yeah, okay. What do you do here? I mostly help Master Azu set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organized since he's too busy to do it himself. Are you the animaster who's been buying them? I'm investigating any suspicious activity in the sanitarium. Oh, I'm just Master Azu's assistant. He'd know more about that, but he's in the middle of an busy with some patients. You won't be able to see him until he comes out from the patient ward. And how do I get into the patient ward? Only Master Azu has access. I guess Head Warden Inhumaner does too, but he's a statue now. Is Azu busy with patients, or is he running some sort of experiment? I'm just an assistant. It's not my place to gossip. I'm sorry. Well, I think we got our answer. Yeah. Think we got our answer. Come on. I'm clicking and it's not going anywhere. So we're going to go downstairs and then have to come back upstairs. Really. No, wrong. I meant to come in here. We're downstairs. We went upstairs. We'll have to go down. I have to upstairs and then downstairs. Whatever. Whatever. Okay, so let's tell him.
Good day to you.
Maybe it's Cadman Azu running experiments on the patients here. Experiments? Cadman Azu is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Cadman. I had hoped he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient's ward. I am granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak to him further on this matter, and I for one am curious as to what he might have to say. I tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask also that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as it is. Okay, so now I have access to the wards. And we will be going up there the next episode. If you're enjoying, click like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Sahara out.